Yes, good morning, good morning, good morning. I see you all tested out. We talk about the law a lot, but are you testing it? Are you testing you? Last night on Lance Scurv, we spoke about Samson and Delilah, but there was also an exercise. The exercise is this: look for polarity in your day. Doesn't matter where you go, when you start your day, look for polarity. You're going to test it. When you see it, when you see it, you remember what polarity is. When it always says, where are you now and what are you doing? But remember also, polarity, it points you in a direction very strongly, right? It splits the room in half. This person believes that, that person believes that thing. But what is being polarized? Your mind is. How? Law of gender. Something is being projected into your space, and it will cause you to lean either really hard to the left or really hard to the right. So when you're looking about through your day today, look for that. See if you can spot it. See if you can spot the projection. And if you spot that projection, did you lean to the left? Did you lean to the right? Or did you just observe it? See, there's a reason for that. If you can catch it, because sometimes a projection can be a little hard to miss. Oh, yes. It can be hard to identify. Well, how's that? Have you ever opened up your fridge and something hits you? You're like, oh, what is that smell? And you can't find out where it's coming from just yet. But every time you open the fridge, you're like, oh, like, ew. So you try to mask it. You get the baking soda out and you're like, oh, I'll put this in there instead. Because I clean the fridge. And then you do it again. You open the fridge and you're like, oh, and then it hits you and you're like, oh, I know exactly what that is. You clean the fridge again and then the smell is gone. You identified it. You identified the culprit. You notice you open the fridge, your senses were accosted by a foul smell, and you didn't judge it. Mhm. You didn't judge it, did you? You just went about your way to try and find it and solve it. That is how we live our lives. You see the problem or whatever you think it is, and you don't judge it. You solve it. You work it out. What are you trying to find? You're looking at the effect. You are looking at the effect. And now you're trying to find the cause. You see how you use the law in your life every single day for the most of mundane things? Oh, they seem mundane. They seem mundane, but they are not. You are always exercising the law. Always exercising the law. So, when you're out and about, can you spot the projection that is coming at you? Oh, they're there. But look, now if you don't know where to begin, prime yourself. Remember to set your own algorithm. What does that mean? It means you tell yourself, we're going to be on projections that aren't mine. Well, that's what you're doing. Hmm? This is what you're looking for, projections that do not belong to you. Because there'll be another practice where you have to look to recognize when you are projecting. But that's for another day. Today, we're going to see if we can spot the projection. Did you allow it to polarize you? Did you allow it? Here's an example. There's a news flash. Oh my God! You've been polarized. The minute you react, you've been polarized. You've been pulled in a direction. Why is this important for you to recognize? It's important for you to recognize what is happening so that you know what is you and what is not you. How so? This is also why meditation is important. You get a sense of your own presence. Well, this is how the body works. The body knows itself, right? Anything that comes into that body that is not itself, it will attack it. We call it an immune response. It only ever sees itself. This is why it can spot a foreign contaminant, right? The more we practice these things, the easier they become to do on a daily basis. So that you now are moving in the world on a higher mental plane. Oh, now you're sure you're in it, but you're not of it. You're not allowing it to bend you and move you every which way. You are the one bending and moving you every which way. That is what you want. Because then you're in control of you. And when you are in control of you, somebody else is not in control of you. Oh, conspiracy theories, Angela. No, I want you to take a moment to ponder that. If you don't know what you're dealing with in a day, and you allow yourself to be tossed to and fro, hither and yon, you do that. It is exhausting for you. If you go somewhere and somebody says something and you're hot under the collar and you trip out, that's exhausting. Can you imagine fighting all day? But you're not just fighting all day, but you're also fighting in your own head all day. This is why we practice and we recognize when we're doing something and how we're doing it and what we are doing. Ever vigilant. Oh, sure, it seems like a lot of work, but it actually is easy because you're living from the inside out. You are living from the inside out. You are your own dictator. You're dictating the way your life should be. That's why you test it out every opportunity you get. You make every opportunity to test yourself and the law. And exactly what are you testing? Your alignment, your conscious alignment. That is what you're doing on a daily basis. You're mastering yourself by way of practicing the law. Oh, but Angela, I don't really have time for all of that. That seems like so much work. Step one, do you know what you want your day to be like? You're not sure? Well, start with the effect you would like to have. You want a good day? Start there. And then you break it down. Well, what does a good day look like? Then you break that down. And you begin to have the attitude of one who is enjoying a good day, at peace with themselves. Right? That's what you're doing. You see, it has an effect that goes way beyond what you can see, what I can see. You don't know who you're impacting as you walk out there. You have no idea. Just like they don't know who they're impacting as they walk out there. That's why it is always best to leave a good impression. You know, like the smell of your fragrance. Because we've all walked by someone and you're like, "Eh, what is that?" We've all done that, I'm sure. Well, think about it being a mental one. Hmm. Those are felt in a very potent way. That's what I'm saying to you. We do that. You go through the day and you observe. And you tell yourself, you know what? I want to see as much beauty in the world today as I possibly can. I want to see as much unconditional love as I possibly can. I want to hear as much laughter as I possibly can today. Just just do that and see what happens. Just see what happens. Because if you think about it, most of us are doing it the opposite way. Most of us are saying, oh, you know what? I'm in a mood today. Don't test me because I will make time for you today. You see? Uh, Sometimes we do that. But then what does that bring? What does that create? At every point of the day, you have the control of you. So begin to test these things for yourself to make sure that you are doing what you say you want to do. This is what we do when we test it every day. So, what if you got up this morning and you feel a little antsy? You're like, oh, I don't know. I'm so tired. I really don't know what the day holds for me. What would you like your day to be like? The way your day goes is not in the hands of another. The way your day goes is in your hands. What do you mean? Have you seen the news? No, not exactly. But the way your day goes is in your hands. You don't have to believe me. Wouldn't you like to know it? Well, then you test it. You decide what kind of day you would like to have. Just one thing that would jump out at you, for your day. Choose one. Just make it a good one and see what happens. And if it occurs, how did you respond? If it didn't occur, how did you respond? You see, at every moment, you are learning yourself. You're learning who you are. So that when a particular behavior or a particular thought comes up, the reason why you want to know who you are is so it helps you to decipher what's yours and what's not yours. So when you walk down the street and you encounter any situation, you will be doing what? Practicing your discernment. If somebody is projecting, are you going to react because they're projecting? Or will you recognize, that is a projection? I'm good. Or will you engage? Those are the two choices. But you see, if you determine before you leave or before you get out of your car, as long as you determine how you're going to respond, you will do exactly that. You set the tone for how you want your day to be. Don't just leave it to chance. There is no chance. There's no luck. It's the luck of the draw. No, no such thing. Well, how? Cause and effect. Determine that you are the cause. Remember, Neville Goddard says something? He says, you are the operant power. Sure, you are. You're the cause, is what he's saying to you. But when you hear that you're the cause, some of us want to panic about that. What do you mean I'm the cause? Yes. If you live your life knowing, you know what? I'm the cause, then you know exactly what the effect or the outcome will be. You see how the law puts the power in your hands every time? Remember, not a power to beat somebody with, but a power to mold and shape your existence. If you are the cause, because this is what causation tells you, if you know the cause, you can predict the effect. If you know the effect, you will find the cause. Well, there's never a mystery because there's always going to be the evidence of a thing. That's why if you develop the attitude, you know what? I'm the cause. I'm the cause of all the and but we want to put a label, we say good and bad. No, because then it kind of traps you. If you're looking at it good, bad. No, how are you going to look at it? Is that a desirable experience or an undesirable one? Because if you're having something go on in your life and you look at it without judgment and you say, I don't quite like that. I don't like that effect. Well, then what are you going to do? Well, you're going to change the cause, aren't you? What is the cause? Well, the way you're thinking is the cause. The way you are thinking is the cause. Who's thinking? You. Right? That's always what it will come down to. So being the cause of something is not bad, nor is it good. It just is. We want to attach these feelings and emotions to everything. I'm not saying to be neutral. I'm saying observe yourself. Watch your step. Let's take a moment to welcome everyone into the space, shall we? Let's flip it a little bit. Let's start with fan base this morning. Fan base, be more flocka. I see you. Flo smiles, smoking. Summer Rose, Miss McQueen, Matthias, Yolanda, Zola. I see you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the love and your time. It is much appreciated. Oh, Twitter. I see you, Twitter. Oh, let me go here and who's here? Jeff is here. Ruru is here. Love Troll is here. And that honest guy. Hey, sweetie. I haven't talked to you in a bit. It's good to see you out and about today. Much appreciated. Always beautiful to see you. Let's see who's here on Facebook. We have Indy. YouTube, who's here? Hello, David. Shea Butter. Andrea, hey. Lady D. Hello. Indigo King. Hi. And Andrea Embrezella. Apple. Sherelle. Cyber. A not, honey, I missed you yesterday. Sonia, I see you. Now, Iapo said, interestingly, before you came on, I just watched a video on propaganda and how to recognize it. We're going to touch that in a moment. But David said something. David said, oh, last night Lance's show was on fire. If you missed it, you're going to have to catch the replay. There's a link to the replay in my community tab on YouTube about Samson and Delilah. Oh, yeah, Samson and Delilah. Through the what? The lens of the law. It's not just a story. There's more to it. Anyway, it is good. And David, in your mind, should you see yourself and see it as you wait, just see it as you do where you can only see others? When you are seeing yourself in your mind's eye, you're not static. When you're seeing yourself in your mind's eye, you are doing something. You are fully immersed in the activity that you see. So that when you see yourself, what do you see yourself doing? Remember the law of vibration. Everything moves, nothing stands still. So if you're looking at yourself, you're not this static image. You have to be doing something. So when you see yourself, right? Because you're the cause. You're the cause. What are you doing as a cause? You're bringing about an effect, right? Remember how the pendulum swings. The cause has its effect, and the effect has its cause. You're always moving forward. Always. Onwards and upwards, outwards. Expansion, right? So you take the time to look at yourself and you say, what do I want to experience? I would just like some peace and tranquility today. Okay. Peace and tranquility. You are the cause of peace and tranquility in your world. So, whatever actions you do will confirm to you that peace and tranquility are what you are projecting outward. Well, where else would it come from? You're recreating what you are. So you become the peace and tranquility. It's what you're looking at, it's what you're creating. Remember, you are moving inside your own thoughts. It's a beautiful thing. So that when you practice it, because remember, that's what we're doing. Let me repeat the exercise that we're doing today. We're looking for polarity. I gave this exercise last night, and we're meeting on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern because we're talking to Lance about current events and where the law is. So, polarity. Because remember, you can't separate the laws. I just call them different names, but they're all one. Something is being projected. Can you spot it? That's the law of gender. Something is coming at you, whether it would be a smell, whether it is rain, whatever it is. Something is being projected, and it will cause you to be polarized in a direction, either hard left, hard right, or straight down the middle. Either way, that projection, can you spot it? Did you allow it to polarize you, either to the left or to the right? Did you recognize it before it polarized you, while it polarized you, or after? So, did you catch yourself after you had the reaction? All you're doing is observing. You're not doing anything else. Because remember, it's just one law. So, when that projection comes, what's in your mind? Well, you'll know what's in your mind based upon what you see on the outside that you react to, the way it makes you feel, because it's the vibration, remember? And were you polarized? And how long did you commit to that? Like, what was the rhythm? Did you go and come back to it? Did you tell everybody you saw? Did you tell your bestie about it? The rhythm, right? Back and forth. But what caused it? What caused that projection to affect you? That's what you're looking for. It all happens in one motion. But what you're going to do, you're looking at it, you're going to slow it down. You're going to put it in slow motion because you'll catch the projection and you'll be like, oh, I see what you're doing. And you'll respond. And because you're watching this as it unfolds, you'll see what I mean by slow motion. Oh, it's a fun exercise. It is a very fun exercise. And that's why Iapo mentioned he just saw something about propaganda. What is propaganda? It is a projection. Huh. P-R-O what? Projection. Propaganda starts with P-R-O. Same prefix as projection. P-R-O. It is a projection. You see, the law is ever before you. Someone posted in a forum how terrible life was, and they hate it. And of course, I read it and I thought, do I respond? Do I not respond? I really did just leave it alone. Because sometimes you've got, when you see the pain, you just have to observe for a moment. Because if you jump right in, you don't want to argue. Because there's nothing I can say. I can observe what they're going through at that present moment. And when you see that kind of thing being projected out, what does that tell you? Like you could actually feel the pain in the words that you read from this person. So what can you do when you encounter such a thing? You observe. You don't have to engage because sometimes you don't have the words to share with someone, right? But counter with your own projection. Remember, they don't know what you're projecting outward if you remain silent for the most part. But this is how we can help each other. What projection can you put out there to soothe that? Right? Oh, that's not my responsibility. I don't care. I've got my own problems. Mm. Remember, effects are far reaching, right? We may not always have a kind word. Hmm? We may not always have a kind word, but if you catch yourself when you encounter an unsavory situation, instead of judging it, you counter it with a projection that says, "Ooh, you know what? I feel I feel that. I'm not going to take it on. But I just wish that you'd be soothed." Silently whisper that to yourself and carry on. Keep it moving. You just go about your day because it will have an effect. You might not see it, but you're guaranteed to know that it's there. Why? Because you projected. And you don't just project into nothingness, you project into the womb of creation itself. And so, whatever you project into the womb of creation has to come right back. It is never idle. So, don't think that you can't affect what's happening around you. You can. It's just like if you go to the grocery store and it's really busy. As soon as I see the parking lot, I'm like, okay, 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 okay. And I park and I'm like, what do I want to happen here? You know what? I just want to get in and out. Just easy peasy. And I go in, my cart works great, right? You don't get one with the bumpy wheels. And you go down the aisle, you know exactly what you want. And then as soon as I put the last thing in my cart, I say, I am next in line. And every time, either a new cashier will come and say, hey, this till is open. I can help who's next. And I go right there. And I'm in and out. What did I do? I just projected how I wanted it to go. It's just like if you say, you know what, I just want to park close to the door. I just, this walking thing is, can be a nuisance some days. It's hot out here, right? Same thing. You use what you know to make your life a little simpler, to streamline it. Because Lord knows how we like to complicate things. So you use every opportunity to practice. Whether it's a parking stall, a free tea, it does not matter. Because you see, when you do that, the law of vibration is what? That vibration is higher. And it will influence not just you, but others. It really will. You watch it and you'll see. I have a short that I just posted the other day telling you that Bob's not your uncle. He's your reflection. Walk with a scowl. See what happens. Walk with a smile. See what happens. Test it out for shits and giggles, right? Just test it out. We think that practicing the law is this complicated thing, but it isn't. It's just being observant and implementing it where you want to experience something deliberately. Because the law is always on, because everything moves. It can't stand still. But where do you want to be deliberate? Test it out there. You're gonna, when you start testing it out, you'll begin to see you. You'll begin to see your behavior. Your behavior is going to show you those things that go on in your mind. It will bring something to light, and you'll say something like, "Oh, I like this about me," or "Oh, I don't quite like that." And being that you're the cause, you can modify the cause every time to get the desired effect. You notice you're not modifying George, you're modifying you because you are the cause. You're modifying your behavior, you're modifying your thought, you're modifying your response day in and day out. And you notice nowhere in there do you say crazy things to yourself like, "Oh my God, how come I can't get this right?" You notice you don't say that to yourself because you're too busy doing what? Testing out what you know. You're not judging. You don't have time to judge. Judging slows you down. It's like quicksand. Don't put yourself in there deliberately. So test out the law on a daily basis. What are you going to be looking for today? The thing that is projected. When you listen, when you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. You'll get excited. You're like, "Ooh, I saw that. And I didn't let it get to me." And then what you can remind yourself of, wait a minute. So if I didn't know the law, I would have totally committed to that. I would have had my dog in that fight. But then you realize you know the law. And so you create peace. Huh, you're the cause. David says, "So I say every day in every way I'm getting better and better. Last week, the supervisor gave me a certificate saying I'm Employee of the Month. And it's July, my birth month. Hey, well, look at David. Let's throw some confetti, David. Woot woot, right? This is what I mean. It doesn't matter what it is you want to experience. We put sizes on things. We say this big thing, a small thing. No. The minute you say big thing, small thing, you judge it. And then what happens when you judge it? Well, I might not be deserving of that. No. What experience do you want to have? Project that one out. Like David did by way of affirmation. Queen Red Pill. When I walk with a smile and positive energy, I attract positive people and energies. When I have the opposite energy, I attract crazy folks. But this is what I'm saying. It is law, not coincidence, not happenstance, not chance. It is law. It does not matter how small and insignificant you might think the experience is that you would like to have. It's important to you because you want to experience it. There's no scale, big or small. It simply is, what would you like to experience? That's it. Don't judge it and slap a label on it and say, well, I want to have this really big thing or this really small thing. Mm-mm. Do you want to experience it? Then it is done. That's the attitude. But what if I don't get it right? Cyber Cyber says he attracts crazy folks regardless. Cyber, Cyber, that's their projection. That's their projection. That's what they got going on inside. And because you can recognize it, just smile and nod, baby. Just smile and nod. Don't engage with the projection. The projection is a phantom. We don't fight phantoms, y'all. When you see the projection, smile and nod. Or you can quote scripture. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. I see you, brother. I see you. See what it is? You gotta have fun with this. When, like, seriously, when you see it, you just shake your head and laugh at yourself and go, "Oh my God, whew, you just missed that one." You know what I mean? This is the beauty of what you've been given, the law. It opens your eyes. It also softens the heart. You learn discernment. You trust. Who are you trusting? Hmm, that reflection in the mirror. That's because you know the law is infallible. You know it is. It's not a matter of, well, maybe. No, you know that it is. And because you know, well, then that trust is automatic. But for when we're learning ourselves, what are you learning exactly about yourself? You know, you've grown up and you heard things about yourself. It's like people sit around and just talk about you, and you hear through the grapevine who you are supposed to be. And you're like, now you can either go along with that or you can examine it and question it. Agnieszka, welcome, beautiful. You can either believe what you've heard about yourself or you could see yourself for yourself, right? We don't listen to rumors. Well, let me tell you, this is who Angela is. I heard, right? Yeah, but what do you know? What do you know about you? Will you allow the whispers in the morning, right? Will you allow those whispers to move you? People have mouths, they talk all the time, sometimes incessantly. Chatty Cathy, but you know what I mean. Will you allow that to sway you? Only if you don't see the projection. That's why it will sway you. As they say in Barbados, you got talk for me, meaning you have something to say about me, right? Don't put your dog in that fight. If somebody wants to say something, they have mouths. But what's coming out of their mouth will tell you what's inside of them. And if you allow it to affect you, well, then you're judging, you're not observing. That's the point, right? Don't allow things to polarize you, at least not without your consent. If you're going to commit to a polarization, do so eyes wide open. See, I know what this is. You know what? I'll make time for you today. You can do that. I don't advise it, but as long as your eyes are wide open and you see what it is for what it is, sure. But don't be polarized blindly, right? Don't allow somebody's opinion of you, like Zeus in Immortals. He turns and he says to Theseus, "Prove me right." Right? So somebody comes along and has something to say, and you react. You've just proven them to be correct about their assessment of you. You be the one to assess and auto-correct yourself. Mm. Can you project positive energy and attachment at the same, oh, and unattachment at the same time? And should you do it? Unattachment? What do you mean? Can you project positive energy? Well, yes, you can. Unattachment? You mean you haven't judged the situation? Like you're saying here again, the black sheep is the one who breaks the curse. I'm reading you, Cypher. Cyber, sorry, I'm saying the cipher. Oh Lord. Um, the black sheep is the one who breaks the curse. That's the usual thing they say. You know, the black sheep in the family, the one who always stands out. Yeah, you can project unattachment. You're not judging the situation. That's the whole point. We're not supposed to judge the situation. You observe, you assess, and you act accordingly. Because what good is the judgment going to do? You see, it muddies the water, it polarizes you in a direction. Like if I say Delilah, we polarize ourselves right there because we have an opinion on who we think Delilah is and how she behaved, right? That's that's a judgment. But if you observe, you would learn a lot about Delilah, right? So this is why we practice observation. That's one of the first things we learn in traditional Chinese medicine school. Observation is king. Observation. Somebody will come in and say, "Oh my God, I have such a really bad headache." Okay. And you put two needles in to get rid of the headache, and then you allow them to speak to you because they're in pain. Quell the pain, and then allow them to speak. And you'll learn much about them, and you'll find the cause of that headache in no time. Hmm. But you've got to observe the situation, right? Um, Staying neutral, Queen Red Pill says, not being moved by others either way. And that's the thing. When you see what's going on with the law and how it is being projected, right? That is what helps you to stay neutral because you can see it. That's why you memorize so you can recognize the law at work in every facet. Sometimes it is really subtle, and other times it is really obvious, the projection. But if you're vigilant, you won't allow the thing to just totally move you in any direction. It's almost like you're looking down at it and it's happening below you and you're just observing. See? You're just watching it unfold. Yes, I think love from afar. Yes, love from afar. But of course, because it's usually those difficult people that we encounter, you understand. Listen to what I just said. It's usually the difficult people we encounter. Difficult is a judgment. You say they're difficult. They must be difficult. You're calling them difficult. Yeah, but I wouldn't have called them difficult if they weren't. What makes them difficult? That's the projection, right? This is what causes us to have arguments in our heads about people. If I see her, I'm going to say this. Oh, I did that the other day. I said, if I go here and I see her, here's exactly what I'm going to say. That's what I seriously, I did it in my head. When I went there, I didn't see her, but I was ready. So, and it wasn't a bad thing either. It wasn't an argument. It was just that if I see her, this is what I'm going to say. I was going to say, fancy seeing you in a place like this. That's what I was going to say. See, we're always speaking to ourselves, always having a conversation. But what kind of conversation is important? That's because that is the projection. that conversation. It may seem as if it is hidden, but it is not. Why is that conversation not hidden? Because of the law of gender. Because of the law of gender. Scientists are telling us now, when you put the little cap on that measures your brain activity, hmm they're saying that those thoughts don't just stay there in your brain. And I'm like, well, you and I know that because it's the law of gender. It's projected outward every time. So that's why now when people come out with all these fancy things that they want to say, where's the law? Just look for it and you'll see it. Cyber, how do we go about giving those difficult people clean slates in our minds? There must be a way to break that cycle. But of course, why are you calling them difficult? Well, clearly you'll tell me because of the way they are. So, to give them a clean slate, observe what they are projecting outward, right? Is it anger that's being projected outward? Is it pain that is being projected outward? But because that's what they're going through. So when you see what they're going through by way of their projection, you can say, oh, snap. Oh, that's a tough one to be in, isn't it? There's a lot of turmoil in there. And you can take a nice deep breath. And then you exhale. You can say, you know what? Peace be unto you. Just silently like that. That's how you give them a clean slate, by recognizing what they are projecting outward and seeing it for what it is. Not that they're being difficult, something's going on inside of them that you interpret as being difficult. But it's not that they're difficult, it's that they're going through something and they are projecting it outward. And depending on how it makes you feel, if it makes you angry, well, then they are angry on the inside. Because that's how you're interpreting it. If they are in pain and they say things that hurt your feelings, well, hurt people, right? This is what the popular aphorism is. Well, then you know, oh, wait, that can't hurt me. That's pain that they're in. That's what you say to yourself. You're like, oh no, that must be painful. You know what? Peace. I'm just going to send you peace. And you be like a little Care Bear and you project peace out towards them because you see and you comprehend based upon what they are projecting. And it will save you from arguing with people because of misunderstandings. They're not attacking you. You know what I mean? They're projecting their stuff outward because you must project. It is law. So if you know that you're going to project, you now get to decide what you will project. This is how you align with law. You know you're going to project either way, but what do you want to project? And remember, you're not projecting into nothing. That's why you get to decide what you want to project because you're going to project anyway. Now you get to choose. Why would you choose? Because you are the cause of that projection. It will have an effect, it will create one, right? Iapo says, this is extremely thought provoking. Angela, which is his wife, that's his wife's name. Fancy that. What a great name, isn't it? He says they have that same discussion often. It is very helpful to make that paradigm shift. But of course, really, you're changing the perspective of the thing. Can you imagine if we did that? This is why the exercise is so important because you don't encounter just one person, two people, three people, right? You're encountering many projections. And how do you allow yourself to be polarized by that projection? That is what you're doing on a daily basis. But you see, that's why I don't just teach you how to manifest things, because it's not about things. When you put it into perspective, you see that things have a place, they fit into a certain place. What kind of overall life do you want is what the law teaches you. Not just get this, get that as fast as you can. Oh, it's not working. And that's why I say every day, if you're caught up in the things, you miss the big picture, because it's not the things. You are the cause. Or as Neville says, you are the operant power. You think things can be withheld from you? Then you realize that you're the one creating them? No, then rise above that. Things will always be there because, look, we're always going to want something. Look at where we live. Look at how we live. Something is required, right? So make it easier on yourself to mold and shape your concept of yourself. Don't just run around saying crazy things like, I am God. Wait, what? How you? I mean, you can't even spot a projection. I'm not saying you, I'm saying in general. But we, like I said, we want to run around saying, I am God, I am a God. No. What kind of God in your life are you? That is what's important, because that will determine the kinds of experiences you have. So that's where the time is required to mold and craft and shape you. So that when you walk into any space, you know who you are. You know what you are projecting. Thus, you know who you will encounter. You can become a prophet. That's what it is. When you know the cause, you can predict the effect. And what does a prophet do? Predict. That's what the law allows you to do. Hmm? So today, test it out. Test it out. You have everything to gain, right? The god of being a feather in the wind. Cyber. I love you, Cyber. But do you grasp what I'm saying to you today? So it will put things in perspective for you. If you say, look, I'm dealing with this thing, Angela, like, you don't understand, man. I'm alone in the world. Did you know that you can create friends? How do you create friends if you feel lonely? First of all, you will know that feeling lonely is only a feeling, it is not fact. But if you live like the feeling is fact, what are you projecting? How can you how can you be approachable if you are projecting loneliness? But it's not just the loneliness, it's the fear of being rejected. That's what you're projecting outward. So if you are projecting rejection, predict then what will happen from there. So you see, it is just a feeling that you don't have any friends. It's just a feeling. Well, I can't pick up the phone and call anybody, so I don't have any friends, Angela. Why can you not pick up the phone and call anybody? Because we've spent that time commiserating about how lonely we were and projecting it outward, planting the seed of loneliness over and over and over again. So, how do you pluck those things up so that you don't reap that harvest? You begin to recognize, well, what kind of friend are you looking for? Well, that depends. Who are you? You want friends you have something in common with. So, what do you have that they can have in common? That's why you're always recreating you. So, if you're lonely today, take stock of yourself. What are you good at? What do you do for fun? Do you love to laugh? Well, that friend will have a great sense of humor and you'll laugh together. Do you love to shop? Well, that friend will love to shop. So you see, it is always only going to mean something because it is you. It is your projection. It is your seed. And again, I understand when you say, I feel lonely. It is just a feeling. But what do you want to do instead? Right? Look at polarity. Where are you now and what are you doing? I am lonely. And so I don't go out. Oh, so where do you want to be and what do you want to be doing? I would like to make friends and go out and have fun doing what? This, and this. So, do you like going to the library? Well, go to the library because that's my like favorite stomping ground because I love to read. Go to the library. And because now you're doing something you enjoy, your vibration changes. You become approachable. And you go somewhere, somebody's walking down the same aisle of books as you, and you end up in the same place. You're like, oh my God, that's like my favorite genre. Oh, look, potential friend. Yes, it is actually that easy. How and why is it that easy? Because of you. Because of you, right? It's because of you. But you see us? Sometimes we do the because of you in the other way. See, because of you, I can't. Because of you, I can't. You did that. That's what we do. Catch yourself now. Nobody has the power over you or your mind except for you or the person you give that power to. But if you're going to give that power, you better be wide awake to do it. Well, what do I mean? Know that you have power and that you're saying, okay, George, here's my power, take it. That's what you're saying. You better do that consciously because you'll think twice about it, won't you? You'll be like, whoa, 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 wait a minute. If I give that, what? No thanks. I'll keep my power, thank you. Isn't there an affirmation that says, I call back all my power or I call back whatever? Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing. You do not give your power away. Your power over you is yours to use. And that's why people talk about free will all the time. You can't force anybody to do anything. Oh, I read it all the time in forums. How do I get this person to love me? Wait, what? Do you love you? If you can't even tolerate your own presence, how dare you, Greta, expect somebody else to tolerate you? Why? Well, that's so cold, Angela. No, it is called law. What are you projecting outward? Just practice. Just just practice. But what do? We try and mask something. And that's how we end up with unwanted things in our lives. Because instead of being honest with ourselves, look at polarity. It will always ask you to be honest. Why does it ask you to be honest? Because it will honestly recreate what you give it. That's why it's asking you to be honest. Don't lie to yourself. If you sit there and you take stock of your life and you say, look, I really need things to change. Where are you now and what are you doing? Because now you can look over on the other side and say, okay, I want to be here and I want to do this. And you draw it from where? The list you just wrote. Remember, barefoot, shoes. Hungry, food. Thirsty, water. Lonely, companionship. That's how you know what you want based upon where you are. That's why if you are honest with yourself, your change will be swift and successful because you won't try to hide. And you know why we hide? Because we don't want to be judged. But who's judging you? You're judging you. Judge not lest ye be judged. So don't judge you. Assess, observe, and then make the change. How do you know you need shoes if you have not acknowledged the fact that you're barefoot? That's what I mean by being honest with yourself. If you find that you argue with everybody you go out with, glass house, whew, if you find that you do that, be honest with you. Why do I do that? What are you afraid of? Be honest with yourself. And that change that you say you want to make will happen like that. From that little tiny seed of honesty with self. Don't judge it. Don't beat yourself up. Well, I haven't had friends before. They always leave me anyway. So that means I must be a loser. Oh, put the pogo stick back in the corner. Jumping to conclusions. Don't, no, don't do that. That's what I mean when I say test it out. What kind of projections are ruffling your feathers? Well, as within, so without. Then you check you, right? It's not a bad thing to check you. It's a very good thing. As my father says, come correct or don't come at all. That's what he always says. So check you so that you can be correct, not to be right. Oh, you always have to be right. Where have I heard that before? Right? Just test it out. Iapo, he or she who would have friends must show themselves friendly. Ooh, hallelujah. Is that not the law of correspondence? Because I know that scripture. But of course, how can you recreate what you don't have an image of? So if you aren't friendly, examine that. Probably because you're afraid of being hurt, because you were hurt in the past. But if you see it as a projection, that person projected onto you. That's why it hurt you, because you took it up as your own. It wasn't you, it wasn't your own, and it was not your fault. It was their projection. And the minute you see that it was their projection that caused hurt in you, you can now stop blaming yourself. And you see, you can shrug it off and go, oh, I get it. I see what that was. Whew. All right. I'm no longer carrying that burden. And you heal. But we think healing means rip the scab open. It comes back, rip it off again. No, it is the understanding of something that will free you from bondage. Iapo says most people never consider the fact that the single common denominator in every relationship they've ever had is them. Iapo, well said. And you know why they don't see it? Because they're afraid of being judged. What? Well, yes, because they, oh, what? You trying to tell me I'm a problem? I'm a problem? Because that's what you'll hear, Iapo. What? What do you mean I'm a problem? I'm the common denominator. That's what you'll hear. Only because they're afraid of being judged. Instead now of looking at the situation and say, wait, I'm the common denominator. That means there must be a hidden habit somewhere that I keep doing. And I don't like how these things work out all the time. So what is that habit? Well, that depends. What's the effect that you commonly see? Well, they leave. Why do I push them away? Oh, I was hurt in the past. So now I keep everybody at arm's length so that I can predict and prevent pain. That's what I'm doing. But I'm only doing that because I'm afraid. But I don't want to be afraid anymore because I don't like that. So what do I want? You know what? I'm going to recognize it. These things just are projected outward. That fear is being projected. Well, then I'll be courageous because I know what kind of person I am. I know what kind of friend I am, and that's what I'm going to recreate. Okay, good. And because I'm recreating that, bam, I project it outward. Well, I'm honest, I show up, I'm trustworthy, I'm reliable. But that's the kind of friend I'm creating. And that's how you make the change in your life, as opposed to saying, I'm the problem. I'm not telling you you're the problem because I'm trying to be mean to you, but you can't say it that way to someone because they won't hear it. They can't hear it yet. The fear and the pain block them from hearing the truth. They just, so that's why you can't always respond right away to a situation, right? Does that make sense? I trust that it does because people say going through the world is hard, navigating this world is hard. Only if you don't know the law, it is. But when you know the law and you align with it, again, what does it mean to align? See outside? Man, it was hotter in one of our cities than Barbados yesterday, and Barbados was 29 degrees Celsius, 68 Fahrenheit, I believe. But yes, it was hot, hot, hot. So what are you going to do to align? You're going to put a hat on, preferably something light, like a linen or cotton, long sleeve. Oh, that's hot. No, no, keeps, and light colored, keeps the sun off your skin, especially if you're going to be outside working. Align. Don't go outside and act a fool. Or say you lounging by the pool in the hot sun and you fall asleep. Next thing you know, you're a raisin. Come on. Align. Because the sun will shine regardless. You just determine how it's going to affect you. So align. Make sense? Well, my beautiful friends, I shan't hold you up any longer. It's been an hour, and you know how I tend to get all yakety yakety. What's going on tonight? 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to hit the bowl. Not what you think it is. It's the Tibetan bowl. David, there's also a crystal bowl in the house now. Oh, there's a crystal bowl. And I'm so excited about that. Um, but we hit the Tibetan bowl and we allow the sounds to soothe us. We deliberately bring up a sensation that we want to feel in our bodies. And we hold that sensation until the bowl stops singing. And then we release that sensation. Why? Because you're practicing being able to change on a dime. So if you're having a whatever kind of a day, you can pivot. You can say, I want to feel this way instead. Just, I'm observing that, but I want to feel this way as I observe. I'm good. I'm good. As opposed to being overwhelmed. So we teach our bodies how to be calm and how to be still. Yes, Iapo, even when it's cloudy and overcast, the sun is still out. Of course, nothing stopped the UVA and UVB. David, listen, David says he loves how I had to explain the kind of bowl because originally I said, yeah, I'm just going to hit the bowl. And they're like, Angela, do you know what it means to hit the bowl? I was like, I ding the bold is what I do. And they're like, no, that's not what that means. I was like, what does it mean? They're like, drugs. I'm like, what? And so that's why now I explain what kind of bowl because I didn't know. I had no idea, right? So that's why I explain, David. That's why I explain what kind of bowl we're gonna hit. So, anywho, um, countdown initiated, and oh, I will say this, and if you find that the work we do here is of a benefit to you, and you feel so inclined to donate, so that we can continue on with spreading the law into ears and hearts, and you want to donate, the link tree is there and it has a little dollar sign that will take you to PayPal because, Canadians, we don't have Cash App. So I invite you to do that if you feel so inclined. Thank you. And now another word from our sponsor. Also, remember to like, share, and subscribe. The algorithm is our friend. Why? The more we interact with this video, it will suggest it more. Because remember, cause and effect. There are no coincidences. Somebody is looking, somebody is seeking. So let us share it so that they come across it. Of course, cause and effect align with law. That's why we share, that's why we comment, right? Also, hey Jay, I missed you yesterday. Cheech and Chong Bowl. Oh, snap. You're awesome, Jay. Oh, my word. I do love interacting with you guys on a daily basis. It is just beautiful. Also, if you want to send me an email or a DM, the link tree again has a little envelope and it has all the icons for the social media that I am on. No, I'm not on Thread. Okay. I'm not. But I am on Telegram. So there's many places you can email me or DM me if you have a question or is a topic you would like to understand deeper by way of law. Also, for those of you in law school, hello, we're on chapter 2. I trust that you're reading and listening and writing your questions down because we have the live stream coming up to answer those questions. What chapter 2? The KYBALION. That's the book we're reading. We are on chapter 2, the 7 Hermetic Principles: mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, causation, gender. Those are the 7 principles that govern all of creation, including you and I. Whether you know them or you don't know them is irrelevant. You're still governed by them. So, this is why it is always in your best interest to know them, to know a thing. Oh, this one is funny. Iyapo says he has a friend who's always hitting the pipe. He's a plumber. He's a plumber. I just thought of the plumber's crack. Oh my god. Visual image. Thanks, Iyapo. My day is great now. Sorry. That was actually quite funny. Oh jeez. You gotta love a plumber though. You just do. But anyway, that's what I wanted to say. So let me holler at everybody. Jay, thank you for being here. Iyapo, David, Sherelle, and then Queen Red Pill, Cyber, Agnieszka, Indigo King, Shea Butter, Andrea Darling, Lady D, Empress Ella, A Not, and a Sonia. You know whose name I didn't say this morning? The Better Man. He's usually here on YouTube. I didn't say his name today. And Jeff and that honest guy. I see you. Love troll me on Twitter. Beautiful. I see you. Joyce, Matthias, Smokin', Miss McQueen, Flo Smiles, Summer Rose, Yolanda, Zola. I see you all. Thank you so very much for being here today and spending time with me and your beautiful questions. Go forth today and remember, can you spot the projection? And did you allow it to influence you? Test it out because Wednesday we're going to talk about it. 11 a.m. Eastern. I'll have a link in my community tab because I'll be over with Lance again. And listen, let me tell you, if you didn't catch last night's Bible story, Samson and Delilah, you might want to check it out. It was a fun time. And the wind was howling too. Oh, yes, it was. It was a really good time. So, um, wait, how's Marianne Williamson running for president? I don't know who that is, but we gonna figure it out. I'll have to look it up. Well, thank you, Empress Ella. It was awesome having you here. Oh, Synovia. I didn't say her name. Uh, Beauty Queen Onika. I didn't say her name either because I didn't see her in the chat. Mm, but that's okay. They're part of the replay gang. Okay, y'all. So that is all the gravy from the bowl. Okay. I don't want to keep you longer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 love. Twitter, I love you. I'll see you on the morrow or tonight when we hit the bowl. Much, much love to you all. Twitter is closed. Fanbase, I see you. I'll check you tonight because I usually do it here on Fanbase too. We hit the bowl over here on Fanbase. Fanbase, YouTube, Facebook. And that's what we do. Peace out. I'll see you later. And Fanbase is closed. YouTube and Facebook. Look at that. I'm down to one hand now. Queen Red Pill. I see you all. Thank you for being here on such a lovely day. And I trust that all is well. And I didn't say Marjorie, Cheryl. I didn't see you guys today in the chat, but I know you're part of the replay gang. Much love to you also, Iapo, and say hello to Angela for me, my namesake. Yes. Zola, I see you. You guys are awesome. And parting really is such sweet sorrow. It really is. There's a conversation going on in the chat. That's why I haven't closed it yet because you guys are yakety yakking, and I like it. It makes for a great community, you know. It truly does. I got to make sure and check my DMs. Remember to like the video, yeah? Here, I'm going to click like too. If I don't like it, who will, right? I got to like it. Um, but yes, thank you all for being here on such a beautiful day. And I look forward to seeing you again soon, my lovely, lovely friends. Oh, look, there's hearts in there. I just dropped some hearts in there too for the chat. Yes. Alrighty, y'alls. Oh, August the 3rd, testimony time. August 3rd. So you can, if you're not available, drop me a note and let me know your testimonial and I will share it for you. And if you're going to be there, I'll split the screen and you can come on and share your testimony. That is what we'll be doing. Yeah. See, it is going to be a fun time, I say. Yes. Oh, and Cynthia and Olivia. I didn't see them in the chat today. All right, y'alls. I love you, and I'll see you soon.